Sean "Diddy" Combs, once revered as a titan of the music and fashion industries, now finds himself at the center of one of the most explosive legal sagas in entertainment history. With a growing number of lawsuits, criminal charges, and witness testimonies painting a disturbing picture, the mogul's carefully curated public persona has come under relentless scrutiny. The unraveling began in late 2023, when singer and longtime associate Cassie Ventura filed a bombshell lawsuit alleging that Combs subjected her to years of sexual abuse, violence, and manipulation. The suit described a chilling pattern: drug-fueled coercion, non-consensual recordings, and even an act of vengeance, where Combs allegedly arranged to have rapper Kid Cudi's car blown up over a romantic connection to Ventura. The public was rocked further when surveillance footage surfaced of Combs physically assaulting Ventura in a hotel hallway in 2016, a moment frozen in time that many called the visual proof of years of whispered rumors. Though the lawsuit was quietly settled within days, it cracked the dam. Just days after the settlement, a package was anonymously delivered to the offices of the Southern District of New York. Inside, a flash drive filled with encrypted audio recordings, handwritten notes, and photos, some of which appear to document moments from the so-called freak-offs described by witnesses. The sender, identified only as Rook, claimed to be a former inner circle confidant of Combs's, now on the run. In the months that followed, a torrent of allegations emerged. A Jane Doe claimed in December 2023 that Combs and his associates gang-raped her when she was just 17, luring her to New York under false pretenses. Then came a federal lawsuit from producer Rodney Lil Rod Jones, who described a professional relationship steeped in coercion, drugging, and sexual harassment by Combs. Unbeknownst to the public, one of Combs's newest assistants, Miles Avery, was in fact an undercover agent planted by the FBI, working from within to gather real-time intelligence. Avery's reports helped build the foundation for a March 2024 raid, when heavily armed agents stormed Combs's homes in Los Angeles and Miami. What they found shocked even seasoned law enforcement: illegal firearms with defaced serial numbers, large quantities of illicit drugs, and a cache of bizarrely themed costumes and party staging tools investigators believe were used to manipulate and intoxicate guests. In September 2024, Combs was formally arrested and charged with sex trafficking, racketeering, and obstruction of justice. But perhaps the most damning evidence came not from any raid, but from an old leather-bound journal recovered from a secret compartment in Combs's Miami estate. The pages contained detailed entries, part confessional, part manifesto, documenting years of power plays, surveillance on rivals, and a cryptic reference to something called Project Rain. Prosecutors argue that Combs operated a criminal enterprise for years, one built not on music and branding, but on fear, manipulation, and systemic abuse. According to the indictment, Combs maintained an inner circle of loyalists who enabled or directly participated in the mistreatment of victims, silencing dissent through intimidation and payoffs. The trial, which began in May 2025, has quickly become a media circus. Former bodyguards, assistants, and collaborators have taken the stand, some reluctantly, others defiantly, offering insights into the shadowy inner workings of Combs's empire. One insider described the atmosphere around Combs as cult-like, where power dynamics were warped and resistance was dangerous. On day 12 of the trial, an unexpected twist: the whistleblower Rook requested to testify remotely via video feed, claiming their life would be endangered if they appeared in person. Their testimony, veiled in voice distortion and shadow, delivered an explosive accusation, alleging that a now-retired politician accepted bribes from Combs to derail an earlier investigation back in 2012. Just as the courtroom reeled from Rook's statements, the judge called for recess. But it would be the following day's session that would change everything. Enter Jay-Z, a billionaire music producer and singer who previously worked as a tour production technician for Combs during his 2015 to 2018 world tour. Jay-Z had remained out of the spotlight, keeping a low profile and working quietly in the tech industry. But Jay-Z had a secret, a personal copy of a digital backup originally meant to be destroyed, a complete archive of surveillance footage, internal emails, and personal video logs from the tour's back-end systems. Jay-Z had hesitated to come forward for years, fearing retribution. But after seeing Rook's testimony and realizing key pieces of the puzzle were still missing, he stepped forward. What Jay-Z submitted to the court was staggering. Hours of high-definition video showing women being led into restricted areas, visibly intoxicated and sometimes unconscious. Time-stamped footage showed Combs directing staff to prep the room, instructing which guests were to be entertained and in what manner. One clip, in particular, showed Combs speaking directly to camera, drunk and laughing, saying, "They signed the waiver. They know what this is." The courtroom fell silent as the footage played. Some jurors turned away, others wept. Jay-Z also produced metadata logs and cloud storage keys that verified the footage's authenticity. There were no deepfakes, no cuts. This was raw, unfiltered evidence, the kind that rarely sees daylight. Legal analysts immediately dubbed it the smoking hard drive. Following the bombshell evidence, the prosecution called for an emergency hearing to consider expanding the charges. Meanwhile, the defense scrambled, issuing a motion to dismiss the footage as inadmissible based on chain of custody, a motion the judge rejected after a meticulous review. Media outlets across the globe exploded with headlines. Supporters of Combs began to splinter. Sponsors and business partners who had remained silent began issuing statements of separation. Perhaps most notably, Kid Cudi is expected to testify later this week, an appearance that could link the alleged personal vendettas to violent retaliation. Sources close to Cudi suggest his testimony will include communications intercepted by Jay-Z's archive, revealing Combs' direct involvement in the bombing of Cudi's vehicle. Through his attorneys, Combs has categorically denied all charges, describing the legal actions against him as a witch hunt, fueled by greed and opportunism. Mr. Combs maintains his innocence and looks forward to his day in court, his spokesperson said. But the courtroom is no longer the only battleground. A documentary team has been shadowing the proceedings, producing what they claim will be the definitive portrait of power and silence in modern celebrity culture. Meanwhile, internet sleuths are dissecting every testimony, chasing the identity of Rook, and theorizing about what Project Rain might really mean. Outside the courthouse, protesters gather daily, some seeking justice for victims, others insisting on due process. Inside, the story continues to unfold, with each revelation dragging more names into the mud. Former allies, managers, and friends of Combs are now turning state's witness, eager to save themselves or finally unburden their consciences. As Jay-Z's testimony continues, new files are being decrypted. Investigators suspect they may reveal additional locations where similar abuses took place, including overseas venues where U.S. jurisdiction may not apply. If true, international cooperation may be necessary and new indictments could follow. As the case unfolds, it's clear this trial is about far more than one man's fate. It represents a cultural reckoning, a test of whether power, wealth, and celebrity can still shield those accused of abuse in an era demanding accountability. For now, the world watches, one courtroom testimony at a time. Like and subscribe for more breaking news.